I just didn't really believe that, I just turned 21, I'm like, gonna study, gonna go off and have this big life, and then I'm being told that I could have just dropped dead. I was just kind of like, I was just shocked. I didn't really know what to think. Ever since I was really young, whenever I would get really excited or whenever I guess would get anxious, my heart rate would get really fast and high. And I mean, as a kid, I just thought it was normal. I ended up going to see my GP, and he said that he knows a guy, knows someone, and he would contact him. And that's when I met Caleb.
Yeah, Daniel's heart rhythm is a little bit unusual. We don't see it extremely commonly, but it is something that we are used to seeing within cardiology. The heart rhythm that he had, because of the extra pathway he was born with, put his heart very fast, up to 300 beats a minute, which was a bit scary for him and the doctors looking after him in Dalby. And even better for Daniel, of course, is that he was able to be cured by an ablation.
But the hardest part was probably traveling to Brisbane. Because of COVID, I wasn't really allowed to have family there, so having to say goodbye to family at the door, and then, anxiously waiting for like 2 or 3 hours to have this operation. And I know that I was told that, it's going to be fine, everything's going to work out, but it is a heart surgery, and I was still scared that something bad would happen. I've never been to Princess Alexandra Hospital, and it was great, but I lived in Dalby at the time, so my family had to spend the night in a hotel. If it was closer, to home, it would have just been a lot easier. My family would have been able to stay in Dalby, just drive home that night, and I would have, been fine.
And I would see patients at least weekly who are waiting to have the procedure done down in Brisbane, and they can wait up to 2 years to have that procedure done. The other side of it is that I see patients almost as frequently who can't get to Brisbane because of social reasons or distance, or I saw a lady just the other day who struggles to get to Brisbane because she's got kids to look after and she's a single mum. And so there are people that are missing out on treatments just because it can't be offered locally.
I'm lucky that I was only 3.5 hours away, but if people were living further out, further out of the country, having to travel hours and hours into a city that they probably don't go to that often, to have an operation when it could have been done in Toowoomba, just would have been a whole lot easier overall.
The demand for this service is there, not just in people who are waiting to get to Brisbane to have this procedure, but as the population gets older, that demand is only going to increase. We've been very blessed by the Hospital Foundation in terms of equipment that we've got, and essentially we wouldn't be able to do half of what we're doing now without your support. This EP service again involves some equipment purchases, which is what we're talking about, and again that couldn't happen at all without the support of the Hospital Foundation.
I think my friends know me best, and I think they would say that this is a very serious thing, and I was very, very shaken by what had happened, and it kind of changed my outlook on how I viewed my life following what I'd found out in this operation. I would say to the donors that if you are, imagine that you were young, imagine that you're 21 and you just found out that you have a heart problem that could have killed you. It was just, very serious. And I would ask them that if they had kids of their own, that, to consider it.